What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Uh, Here to give you a review of the RTT I went to yesterday with my ATC list. Did end up changing it from the list I posted the other day after having one test game on TTS with a friend of mine and then having another talk with another friend of mine. Ended up dropping one of the two whirlwinds, dropping one of the infiltrator squads down to a scout squad, sniper squad, and dropping the Phobos Librarian, and with that I ended up picking up two Plasma and Scepter squads, 3-mans. So we'll just run you through what my list was real quick. It was Primaris Librarian with Bolter Discipline, Ragnar, Ballistus Dreadnought, 6-man Blade Guard Veteran, 10 Desolation Marines with 9 Super Crack, 1 Vengor Launcher, two 3-man Plasma and Scepter squads, two Infiltrator squads, two 5-man Scout squads, one of which had a missile launcher, the others were just all sniper rifles, Thunderfire Cannon, Vindicator, and Whirlwind, both of which had Storm Bolter and Hunter Killer Missile. So basically, the idea was to use the indirect to shoot and kill stuff from distance, and use Ragnar and the Blade Guard to kind of protect that if people got too close for the most part, and then use the scouts and the inceptors to play mission stuff, do secondaries, and the infiltrators to bubble out deep strikes if people had it, and do mission stuff if I need them to. So that was my list. This is what I'm taking to ATC. So it's not necessarily designed to win every game. It's designed to score high and keep games close. And well, I'll just get into it and we'll show you how it went over the weekend. So my first matchup was into Necrons. It was a pretty good game. If this will load, I'll show you the list. But yeah, so I was playing into Necrons, and here it goes. Uh, Lich Good go Burr, balance to Lich. So as you tell that, he was running lots of Lich Guard. So he had two Hexmark Destroyers, one of which had the Sovereign Coronal. He had two Overlords with Resurrection Orb, one of which had the Veil of Darkness, which, if you don't know, that lets him pick up and basically re-deep strike a unit. He had two Technomancers. He had the Transcendent Cetan. He had the Canoptic Reanimator, which you see in pretty much every Necron list. Two squads of Crypto Thralls. Two Doomsday Arcs. A 3-man squad of Locust Heavy Destroyers, and two 1-man squads of Locust Heavy Destroyers. Two 10-man Lich Guards, and three Tomb Blades. And these Lich Guard squads got the Crypto Thralls, they got the Overlord, they got the Technomancers. They were just all beefed up. They were a pain to deal with. So we were doing the three ATC missions, which are B, E, and M from the Leviathan FAQ. So first round we did B, which was Search and Destroy, which is table quarters deployment. It's 6 objectives, and then it's you get 2 points, or so you get 5 points for every objective you hold, up to 10, and that's all. Not turn 1, but obviously 2, 3, 4, and 5. And on turn 5, you both score at the top of your turn, unlike a lot of missions where second player scores at the end of the turn. And then at the end of the game, you can both score objectives again up to 15. So there still is a bonus for going second because you get last play for those objectives. Uh, so in this mission, he ended up going first. So he pushed up, didn't really do a lot of damage. I think he killed a couple scouts. Then on my turn, I was probably too aggressive, and this probably is. I ended up losing this game. This is probably what cost me the game. But I've played into like the Warrior and Immortal Necron, so I hadn't played into Lich Guard yet. So I was like, well, let's see what they can take. So I threw Ragnar and his squad out. I put Oath on one of the Lich Guard squads. I threw Ragnar and his squad out, advanced them, rolled a 1. So I had like 8-inch charge. So I was like, I didn't reroll the advance. I'm like, we'll see what happens. And then when I went to start shooting, I realized if I shoot the unit I want to charge with Ragnar, there's a good chance he'll pull it farther away and I fail that charge. So I started shooting at the other Lich Guard squad, which one didn't have Oath. So I did some damage there, and then I charged Ragnar into the other one, and I managed to kill it down to 2 Lich Guard. Killed both Crypto Thralls, killed 6 or 8 of the guys, but then he started healing. So he healed, he brought 2.5 Lich Guard back, so he had 5. Swung on me, did some damage. Then on his turn, healed again, fell back behind a wall, shot his whole army, and ended up picking up all the Blade Guard, leaving Ragnar alone. The other squad I shot started healing. So really, because I split fire, ended up doing nothing. And also turn 1, I popped the Ballistus out to get a shot at his Reanimator. And got a 50-50 shot at killing it. And I didn't, and so then it heals back to full. So probably wasn't pushing the Dread out for a 50-50 shot of something. Against Necrons, you gotta really make sure you can kill stuff, because if you don't, it's just going to heal up and it's going to be like you did nothing. So I ended up losing the Ballistus and the Blade Guard, and ended up losing Ragnar the next turn after he killed a Hex Mark. So I lost the Blade Guard, Ragnar, and the Ballistus, and all I really killed was a Hex Mark. So I think that was a huge misplay on my part. So after that, it was just Thunder Firing the Lich Guard, speed bumping another one, and then alternate. Then Thunderfire this one. Let's just keep them off me as much as I could. Score my points, score their points. So in the end, it ended up being 50 to 40 on primary and 40 to 35 on secondary. So he beat me by 15 points. It was 100 to 85. So if I keep Ragnar and the Ballista safe that turn and wait for him to get a little closer so I can concentrate and just kill one Lich Guard squad, which I believe I could do if I put all the shooting and Ragnar's unit into the same squad on the same turn. That probably flips that game into something I actually can win. So, List played well. Even after I threw away some assets, I still managed to only lose by 15 to a really strong Necron list that actually went on to get first place and win the tournament. And it was the most points anyone scored against him. So if I'm smarter with my assets there, I'd probably beat that. And so that's really happy about that. So I can clean up some of my gameplay, but the list seemed to be well. Desolation Marines didn't do as much in this matchup just because Lich Guard and all the big tanks he had, they really don't do much into. But that's fine. They're not going to be amazing in every matchup. So that was round 1, 185 loss. Then round 2, we ended up going into Eldar. And the Eldar player, he played a 94 to 90 game the first round. So we both had really close games. And so then here was his Eldar list. He has the Altark Wayleaper with the Phoenix Gem. So he stands back up and he's lone operative. So real tough to deal with. Death Jester, Farseer, Fugan, Spirit Seer. Then he's got a squad of Storm Guardians, which he runs the Farseer with. He's got a Wave Serpent, which either I can't remember if that was a Falcon. One of them, and he's got a Falcon. One of them has the Wraith Guard and Spirit Seer in it. The other one had the Fire Dragons and Fugan. Then he had 2 Fire Prisms, 2 squads of Rangers, a squad of Shadow Specters, a squad of Shroud Runners, a Viper, 2 Warwalkers, Warp Spiders, and then the Wraith Guard that are running with the Spirit Seer in one of the transports. So this mission was the one where you get to place objectives, but they ruled it the same way ATC's ruling it, where the middle one stays fixed. Then it's got the angled employment, I believe it's called Sweeping Engagement. And this is the take and hold, so you can get up 5 points for each objective, up to 15 each turn. And then at the bottom of turn 2, whoever goes second gets to score at the bottom. So this one, this was another really tight game. So round 1, or turn 1, who got first turn in this one? I got first turn, I believe. So I oathed his Guardian Squad with the Farseer just to get rid of the extra Fate dice and the auto Fate dice stuff. But then he Phantasm on back, so I only got, I believe, 7 Desolation Marines having range with their indirect on it. So then I put the rest into one of his Ranger squads. I did manage to pick up all of the Guardians and the Farseer, because with Bolter Discipline, put them in Dev Doc, like it does that. It picks up infantry. So I managed to get rid of his extra dice for being on objectives and his auto sixes. So that was helpful right there off the bat. And then between the Whirlwind, the Thunderfire, all the rest of my shooting, I picked up the one Ranger squad in the middle, and I plinked down some wounds on another Ranger squad. His turn, he comes. He doesn't do too much. My scouts are sitting out on objectives and stuff, but they're kind of, they can't be targeted outside of 12. So I'll just run down the scoring here. So turn 2, we both got 10 on primary. Turn 3, I got 5, he got 10. Turn 4, I got 15, he got 5. And then turn 5, I got 5, he got 15. So he got me 40 to 35, and mostly because he got that second turn push at the end of 5, because going into 5, I was actually up on secondary. Let's see. Yeah, because I had 30, he had 25. So I was up 5 going into the round. I was up 10 after my turn, but he was able to get the extra 5 on primary there. And then secondaries, round 1 I got 7, he got 10. Round 2 I got 10, he got 13. Round 3 I got 9, he got 10. Round 4 I got 8, he got 10. Round 5 he got 10. In round 5 we didn't mark his because he had already had 40 at that point. And we both went over 40 on secondaries, so we both maxed our secondaries. So actually this game really came down to that second turn push for objectives. I believe if I went second and we played the game pretty much the same way, I would have been able to do that second turn push and pull it out. So actually I believe going second really determined this matchup. It was damage and trading units was very equal through the whole game. So he ended up beating me 90 to 85. So at this point I'm 0-2. But I have 2 85-point scores, and I lost by 15 and 5, which is at ATC. That I believe that would have been a 12-8, and actually a tie. Within 5 points is actually a tie. So going into Necrons and Eldar, which are considered 2 of the stronger armies, I believe I was very happy with that, especially the Necron matchup was a misplay that I actually could have won. And this one, a 5-point game. If I'd have went second, I'd probably win, and I'm sure I maxed my secondary, so there's no misplay there. I don't know if there was anything I missed where I could have denied him a primary here or there during the game. I don't believe so. I believe we both played it very, very well. I think this one actually did just come down to going second. I'm sure there were some small minor errors on each side, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head that stands out to me. Like in my first game, those couple things really stood out as mistakes. So I was very happy with that game. And then round 3, I ended up playing a guy I've been getting to know up here since I moved up here. Really nice. He plays Demons. He was at this point 0-1-1. He had a loss, and then he had an 87-point draw in round 2. So he was running Be'lakor, Bloodthirster, Great Unclean One, Lord of Change, and Shalaxi. So just running the big monster mash. 1 little Nurgling squad, 10 Pink Horrors, 10 Plague Bearers, 1 Scalad of Flamers. So this one, looking at it going in, I thought I would do well into it just because this list does kill big stuff fairly well. So in this one, I ended up going second. So he pushed the Bloodthirster up turn 1 and charged in and killed one of my little scout squads. But then on my turn, I was able to, and this mission was Purge the Foe, Crucible Battle, and Chilling Rain. So no special mission. It's kill more, and then starting turn 2, also hold more. So I pushed the Bloodthirster up to get a kill, and then I was able to fire back Oath of the Moment on the Bloodthirster, kill the Bloodthirster. So we even killed. So it was 4-4 primary turn 1. He got 2 secondary points turn 1 because he drew investigate signals, and like behind me, something crazy that he couldn't achieve turn one. Or I think it might have been assassinate. So he ends up discarding that for a CP. And then on my secondaries, I believe I got bring it down and uh, extend battle lines. So I ended up with 10. So even on primary, got a good secondary lead. At the start of his turn two, he got 4 for holding an objective, and then he ended up killing a unit. So he got another 4. I believe he killed another scout unit, dropped in his flamers, and flamered them. Then on his secondaries, he got a 5 and a 3, which I believe was deploying in the middle, maybe teleport homers, and something. I don't. I gotta start using the app so I can keep track of these secondaries better. I just have the scores written down on my sheet of paper. But basically, he ended up scoring 8 for secondary, and then I ended up getting 4 for primary, or for holding an objective, and then I ended up getting 8 because I managed to kill 2 units because he had brought in some of his little stuff that turn. So I actually killed Bellicor this turn with Ragnar and the Blade Guard. They charged in and just wrecked him. I mean, I plinked some wounds off of him, and then I picked up Plague Bears. I believe I picked up the Plague Bears, so that was my 2 kills to his 1. And then I got 10 on secondaries again. I got 10 on secondaries every round, so I actually got 50 on secondary, which I had to dumb down to 40. Uh, then round 2, or sorry, round 3, we both kill only 1 unit. Or no, we both killed 2 units that turn, and then we both only got 4 on primary. And then same on round 4, 4 and 4 to 4 and 4. And then round 5, he only got hold. He didn't kill anything because at that point, all he had left was really just 5 brimstones left out of his horror squad, a 3-man Nurgling, and the Great Unclean One. And so then on my turn, I ended up getting 8 and 8 because I finally held more and I was able to kill the brims and the Nurglings to get, because I got overwhelming force that turn, so I had to kill both of them. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have wasted time killing them just to kill his stuff, but there was points there. So ended up beating him 48 to 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So 42 to 32, or sorry, 48 to 32 on primary. I left 2 primary points on the table. And then 10, 20, and he ended up with 30 secondary, and I ended up with 40 secondary. So I actually ended up winning that game 98 to 70. Uh, this was one of those lists that everything I had got to do good stuff in. He had the big stuff, so my Vindicator and the Ballistus, and then Ragnar, and then went and picked up something good. Really got to do a lot of work. And then the Vindicator and the not the Vindicator, yeah, the Vindicator and the Ballistus, just planking down big stuff. Desolation Marines. They popped out, shot some cracks late, but mostly they just picked up all his little objective playing stuff and left him. Yeah, one of his last turns he had to cleanse with the Great Unclean One just because he really didn't have anything else to do it with. So really happy with how that list played. I don't think that was the best matchup for him into me with my ability to have all the little mission playing things and kill his little mission playing things and just stay back from his big stuff and force him to come to me, pick the fights and stuff on my terms. I never let it eat more than one big thing at a time. Uh, so, but so overall, the lists will run down how I felt all my units did. The Primaris Librarian, great. Gives me my Warlord. I can hide him from night and stuff. He just makes that Desolation Squad go off so much better. Ragnar is a beast. He picked up a Fire Prism by himself. He picked up a Warwalker. His squad picked up Bellicor. Uh, yeah, they did a lot of damage to the Lich Guard, but unfortunately I didn't concentrate all my stuff from other stuff there. So I wouldn't blame that on that squad. I would blame that on me. They did well. Ballistus always seems to do well for me. Uh, I always save him kind of later because he gets full rerolls to hit to get something that's above half strength. So if I somehow can finish my oath target off without him, he can still get rerolls to hit into other stuff. And the fact that he gets 2 las cannon shots instead of 1 twin link, just I really like him. He just always does work for me. In a 48 inch range, I can normally protect him, and he's on the dreadnought base, so he's a little easier to hide behind some of these ruins and stuff than some of the other stuff. Blade Guard with Ragnar, just went over them. They keep him alive, and they didn't really get into a lot of good infantry other than the Lich Guard this turn, but them and Ragnar pick up big stuff, and they slaughter through infantry, so I really like them. It gives me that one nice combat threat to protect my gun line. Desolation Squad, uh, 2 out of 3 games, they were amazing. They just killed all sorts of stuff, and people are scared of them and have to come after them. The first game into the Necrons, they're just that list. Necrons just don't die, so they're really. He didn't have a lot of little stuff. They helped pick up the Tomb Blades, but I don't put that on them. I put that more on just how Necrons are built and a little bit of my play. The Inceptors, amazing. They help kill some of the pink horrors, but mostly just with their 3 inch deep strike. They just dropped in. They got me a lot of secondary points, and that's really what they're designed to do. Any kills they do are extra. So I'm really liking them as a tech piece. Shout out to Nick Herding for putting me onto the Inceptors. Uh, I do believe the Bolter ones are better, but this is the way mine are built, and I don't feel like ripping their arms off or buying new ones right now, especially since most of the time they drop in and do like an action and don't shoot and die. So it's not a super big issue that they have the plasma instead of the bolter, but if you have the option right now in 10th edition, bolter is slightly better. 2 infiltrator squads, they don't do much other than just keep people out of my lines, which makes it harder for them to score secondaries and protects my back objectives and my shooting. So, I mean, that's what they do, and they do it well. I've run at least one infiltrator squad in my Marines pretty much since they came out, and normally two. So, and then with the 6 of Feel No Pain, they just sometimes last a little longer than people expect them to. So, love the infiltrators. Scout snipers, amazing. Their damage is okay. Strength 4, neg 2, 2 damage. Uh, has precision. Didn't really get to use their precision much, but just they're being untargetable outside 12 and having infiltrate, they help me play the mission so well. That's one of the reasons my scores were so high in every game, even in my losses. Thunderfire, great. Into small infantry, he does some damage, but into other stuff, like that Lichguard game, I don't know if he did a single wound, but he just slowed them down every turn, which really made a huge difference. If they could have just run both squads into me, or I could only speed one, I would have had to throw away a lot more assets to keep them out of my line. Uh, so for 90 points, what he does isn't always seen in damage, but just speed reduction on people is amazing. Vindicator, probably one of my favorite things in the list. Just people are always shocked how long he lives. With a 2-up save, you just make sure he's always partially blocked, and then you put armor contempt on him. I mean, he just T11, 11 wounds, just doesn't die. Like, he just lives most of the time. Necrons killed him, but I think he lived the other 2 games, and he put in a lot of work into the Eldar and into the demons. And he even got charged by a big demon, and then the fact that he doesn't get the neg 1 for shooting into combat and can shoot his demolisher cannon into combat because of his special rule. I was able to pick up that demon without even having to send any other help in there. I had other shots lined up in case he failed, but he was able to do that, so I was able to put everything else downrange, start whittling other stuff down. So I love the Vindicator. I know a lot of people aren't big on him. I've even heard some army building lists where they took it out and like, oh, you don't take a Vindicator. 24-inch range isn't good. This is a mid-range game. 24-inch range is pretty good, and there's not much that can kill him in Overwatch, especially since Eldar now only get 1 Fate dice. Uh, Yeah, so maybe every once in a while something weird like that'll happen. Someone will be able to pick him up in Overwatch when you get in range, but most of the time he just does work. And between him and the Desolation Squad, people just are so concentrated on trying to kill those two things. They a lot of times leave a lot of my mission playing aspects alive, which just lets me score points, which at the end of the day is what you need to do to win these games. And then Whirlwind. Whirlwind's solid. He's okay. I wouldn't say he was great in the game, but I wouldn't say he was horrible. Uh, but yeah, just extra indirect. Him is really helpful sometimes. Just pick up that last guy or two in a unit. He does have a hunter killer, so if he pokes out, he can put that on something. And then he's strength 8 with 2 damage, so even into big stuff, if they have Oath on it, he does help a little bit. So he's fine. He does fine. It's not like he wasn't like useless. I don't think like oh drop him, but he wasn't like amazing. We're like oh have to take, but he plays okay in the list. And then with his 72-inch range, you put the Thunderfire a little closer on the fort. You put him like in that back corner, and he just helps stop Deep Strike Bubble behind you, just because he can be there, so you can kind of slide the infiltrators and stuff over. Unless they know they have like a weird 3-inch Deep Strike or something, then you got to put the infiltrators more there. And I had one game just because he gets to deploy so far back, where he just one turn just did investigate signals because he was already back there. He didn't even have to move. Just like, all right, I'm doing this. So that helps. Yeah, I got 6 points on in signals one turn just because I had him. And then I kind of just moved one scout squad over. And then I actually could have got 8, but I got deploy teleport homers 2. So I dropped in the 2 Inceptor squads, one in like this corner, one in their deployment zone. So I got the 6 because the 1 Inceptors I used to deploy. So I got 11 secondary points that round, which was amazing. Whereas if I got like extend battle lines or something, with signals, I could have got 8 signals, and so I could have got like 13 secondary points, which would have been ridiculous. So just like I'm really enjoying all these little tech pieces. So I give up a little damage here and there, but like this list just plays the mission well, and I just really like the way that feels. Uh, so the biggest differential of any of my games was 28 points, and that was in my win. The others were 15 and 5. So fun games. They all never felt like either player was ever completely out of it in any of the games. So I really enjoyed that. I'm really liking 10th. I'm really liking this list. I will keep you guys updated on how it does at ATC next weekend. Uh, but that's it for now, and I hope you guys have a good day.